What's up guys, and thanks for joining us as we are going through another month of Kickstarter recommendations. We do these every month, bring you 5 games that are currently looking for funding on Kickstarter and we think deserve your attention. A quick disclaimer, we are not supported by any of these games and none of these games are guaranteed to reach full funding, meaning if you do back them, it doesn't mean that they will be fully published as a full game. But enough of the nitty gritty. Before we dive into this month's recommendations, we're going to have a quick recap of how last month's games got on. Our first recommendation last month came in the form of Future Ghost, a Japanese-inspired point-and-click adventure that featured turn-based JRPG combat. We're pleased to see that Future Ghost hit its funding goal, and you can expect to be playing the game around about June this year. Unfortunately, top-down voxel shooter Vault Raiders failed to hit its £2,000 goal. It's not yet clear to the future of Vault Raiders, but hopefully it does not mean this is the game's end. Another game that didn't hit its funding goal was colony building sim game Embark. The game received less than 50% of its target, but hopefully that doesn't mean it's the end of Embark. Continuing the trend of bad news, I'm sorry guys, another game that has been cancelled for lack of funding is A Song in the Void. We thought this musical exploration game looked to offer something pretty new, but with the game hitting only 30% of its goal, it's unlikely we're going to see the game anytime soon. PvP indie game Meteor was another recommendation that struggled to get anywhere near its target, only hitting £500 of its £4,500 goal. Now with last month's games caught up, let's dive into our recommendations for February. Wake Up is a game that takes influences from titles like Limbo and Resident Evil and puts them into an immersive story that offers platforming, puzzles and survival horror. You play as Felix, who has been awoken in a strange and eerie mansion with absolutely no idea as how he got there. Exploring this nightmarish mansion for hidden secrets will not only lead you to the exit, but also answer the question as to why Felix is here in the first place. Developers Pyjama Studios really want to focus their attention on the story, making the gameplay evolve around the narrative-driven horror game. For £13 you can get yourself a copy of the game, which is currently slated for release later this year, if fully funded. And if you like the look of Wake Up, then you have until the 15th of February to help the game hit its £44,000 goal. Now, going on a selfish tangent, for me personally, when I hear the title Street Fighter and Final Fantasy, I get pretty excited. So upon seeing AVARIAvs' tagline being Street Fighter meets Final Fantasy, it's fair to say I pretty much lost it. AVARIAvs takes the turn-based combat that we love from RPGs and puts it into a slick and fast-paced fighting game match style. Playing out in parties of 3, you'll need to tactically build your team to overcome your opponents. And with 16 characters built for the launch, there is going to be a lot of stacking to learn. At the moment, AVARIAvs is only set for a PC and Mac release, but if the game gets enough support, there is a high chance it will make its way to consoles, maybe even mobile platforms. You can reserve yourself a copy of AVARIAvs for just £11, which is currently slated to be 25% cheaper than the full retail price if the game gets fully funded. If the idea of this competitive turn-based fighter excites you, then you have until the 16th of February to help AVARIAvs hit its £20,000 goal. Now, you don't have to spend a long time looking or reading about Genesis Noir to realise that developers Feral Cat Dem have created something that genuinely feels unique. Genesis Noir takes the iconic noir art style and fuses it with obscure sci-fi and animated narrative to deliver a story-driven adventure game about destroying the universe. Controlling the character simply known as No Man, you must move through the stylish stages, interacting with almost anything you want. Although be careful of how much you interact with, as every interaction has an effect on the Big Bang. The ultimate aim of the story evolves around what looks like a Jessica Rabbit influenced noir character. And although this through line may sound a little cliche, the overall delivery of Genesis Noir looks to complement this love story perfectly. The developers have actually created a short teaser demo, allowing you to get a sense of the gameplay. This demo can be found at the game's Kickstarter page, which is linked below, but please note it is only a side story and not canon to Genesis Noir. There are some pretty sweet rewards on offer for backers. You can get yourself a digital copy with some goodies for just 11 quid. But if you can stretch to it, then our top pick goes to the Readers tier, offering an animated graphic novel, soundtrack, cosmic inspired goodies, and other treats. If fully funded, we can expect to be playing Genesis Noir sometime late in 2019. And if you like the idea of this unique noir adventure game, then you have until the 16th of February to help Genesis Noir hit its £28,000 goal.
Deep into the scorching desert, in the town of Ayabani, lies the door of Elsewhere, rumour to grant those who best it any wish.
Rumours from Elsewhere is a 3D side-scrolling game that looks to take us on a number of unique adventures through a stunning, low-poly Middle Eastern world. The overall story of the game focuses on the lure of a door to the rumours of Elsewhere. By entering this door, people are promised to have all their dreams and desires granted. The only issue is, no one has ever returned to tell the tale of this glory. The game is set to have 10 playable characters, and although their end goal may be the same, the story told on their journey will differ from character to character. Rumours of Elsewhere does feature roguelike tendencies, with death resetting your progress, but abilities and items can carry over. You can grab yourself a digital copy of the game for £10, and if you like the look of this low poly action platformer, then you have until the 21st of February to help Rumours of Elsewhere hit its £15,000 goal.
Good luck, Pilgrim.
Our final pick for February's Kickstarter games comes in the form of Introspect, a challenging post-apocalyptic boss rush game with completely unhinged gameplay. Before I go further, there is a playable demo available through the game's Kickstarter page, again is linked below. And playing Introspect will do a lot better job of showing you how awesome this game is compared to me just talking about it. The first thing that stands out in Introspect is just how slick the movement feels, even in the early build of the demo. To overcome the brutally challenging robots, you'll need to link rocket slides, grapples and power jumps together in a worn-torn 3D environments. As with any boss rush game, success comes through studying the intricate movements and attacks of your foes, knowing when to attack and when to evade, and Introspect is no different. You can bag yourself a copy of the game for £10, and if fully funded, then Introspect should be playable around about March time next year. So if the idea of crying into a pillow because the boss rush gameplay is too much to handle actually inspires you, firstly go get yourself checked out, and then realise that you only have until the 21st of February to help Introspect hit its £10,000 goal. But that wraps up our Kickstarter recommendations for February. As I mentioned at the beginning guys, none of these games are guaranteed to get a full release, so by supporting them doesn't guarantee that you're going to get the goodies that are in that tier, but by supporting them, you give the developers an extra chance to bring you these brilliant gaming experiences. And to keep up to date with more indie game content, then make sure you subscribe, and to hear what we've been playing as a team and our thoughts on the latest indie game news, why not check out the Indie Credible podcast? And for all things on indie games, including news, previews and reviews, go check out indie-credible.com.